We're talking with Ted Pike, TrueTellers.org. I'm Alex Jones at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And I have the national, international media attacking me on a weekly basis in national publications, saying I'm causing murders. You've got 300 million people in this country. You're going to have a few lunatics that kill folks from time to time. I don't deserve to be blamed for this. Plus, I'm not calling for it, and it turns out that Von Brunn actually didn't like me, and neither did Poplawski. But regardless, to say that you're guilty because they say you're guilty, not even for your speech, but they say something you said may have made this person commit these crimes. A few months ago, I was wondering, why does the media keep trying to, with no connection, to connect me to these people? And their questions, are you causing them to kill? Do you feel guilty? Should you get in trouble? They're getting fed the line. And then I found out, in my case, the Southern Poverty Law Center is on my butt. And the ADL's been caught breaking into police stations and stealing files on people, and they're the ones that train the local police. I mean, this is brainwashing. And then I've seen it in the news where people get arrested for giving the police Ron Paul videos or my films, or get arrested for a anti-UN sticker on their car, and the MIAC and DHS report, and now Homeland Security. Holder has a bill where he will put you on the terror list for your political speech. And they're already doing this. It won't say why 1 million plus people are on it. And they have a bill where if you're on the no-fly, no judge, no jury, extrajudicial, you're going to be on the no-buy list for guns. We're saying if you have bad credit, you're going to be on the no-fly list and then no guns. So it's not just the hate bill or the cyberbullying bill or the DHS reports or the no-fly, no-buy or this new bill I covered yesterday. I've got it here in the stack. I'll give you the bill number if I can dig it out. They're now saying, and saying there's a new world order is hate. That's code word. And we're like, what? Even if it was code word for something, it's your First Amendment, but it's not. David Icke wrote a book believing that space aliens control the world, and he was arrested in Canada, and they said space aliens is code for Jews. So there's also a rampant, like, Hitlerian or Soviet-style paranoia where, I mean, this is a reign of terror. This is so un-American. Ted Pike, break down more of how they're federalizing our local police, and can you elaborate on my point that this is just a nexus for other things in this, and I keep calling it Soviet because it's particularly Soviet, of secret list and secret arrest and no judge, no jury. I mean, this is incredible, Ted Pike.
Well, it's extremely important that we defeat the hate bill, because the hate bill is kind of the flagship of other
It's the biggest
bills.
head on the Hydra, or it's the body of the Hydra.
That's right. The big federal hate bill is a broad bill which will end free speech in America. But we have to realize that there are basically 3 civil rights, hate crimes, bias crimes bills now before Congress. The first, of course, is the hate bill. But there's also ENDA, which is the Employment Non-Discrimination Act. That's now in 3 committees in the House Judiciary. The ENDA is ADL's workplace hate crimes law, which makes it a federal offense to deny employment to a homosexual because he's a homosexual.
And then that federalizes everything.
That's right.
And brings the feds in and weird sensitivity training when nobody is even talking or thinking about this. It's like forcing sex ed on third graders. It's perverted.
That's right. And also ENDA will force churches to hire homosexuals in non-clerical, non-clergy positions.
So Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This is the end of free association, free market, property rights.
Yeah. Now, if we can defeat the hate bill this week, perhaps as early as this week, if we can flood the Senate with this request that the staffers and the senators watch this very embarrassing, very damaging video with Holder admitting there's no equal protection and there's no need on the local level for a hate crimes bill, there is a good chance we can knock it in the head this week. But we're going to have massive calling in to the Congress immediately after this program today.
Ted, more than that, you've I would imagine have done hundreds of interviews. Have you done hundreds of interviews the last month on this?
Oh, yes, Yeah, I'm doing constantly broadcasting. It's coming to a head because Senate Majority Reid says he's got to have the hate bill passed by the August recess, and this arms appropriation.
Yeah, because they know Obama's stalling and losing power by then. They've got to pass the green takeover, the carbon tax enslavement. They've got to pass the gun grabbing. They've got to pass the open borders. They've got to get it all by the winter. But the reason I brought up if we're doing interviews, I've been doing a lot of national and regional shows myself lately, and they'll say, Alex, what's most important right now? And I go, well, the hate bill and the cyberbullying bill, and then I'll read the subsections on air. And these talk show hosts are shocked. They aren't even aware of it because there's such a news blackout.
Yes,
that's why we're so blessed to have you. So I would also encourage listeners to get the stories that Kurt Nemo's written off Infowars.com, off PrisonPlanet.com, to get the reports off TrueTellers.org, to get the video clip from YouTube that you're linked to, and pass that on, the direct link to people so they can see this for themselves. So not just calling the Senate, or is it just best to call the Senate?
Well, right now, you see, we only have several days' time to do this, because if they have a markup session as early as next Tuesday in the Senate Judiciary, the hate bill then will be predestined to go forward very rapidly. They could have a markup session, and the liberals there could vote to move it forward as an amendment. Then they could go through the Rules Committee the next day, only an hour for that, and be on the floor of the Senate by Wednesday. So really,
Why did you say Monday? It could be by Friday. So I mean, we've obviously won some battles since I was reading your site Monday.
Yeah, but you see, the margin in the House, we had a massive margin in favor of the hate bill, something like 74 votes. In the Senate, it's different. It's much more dicey. There's probably 7 or 8 votes in favor of the hate bill over the Republicans. Okay. But what we have to do is destabilize the Democrats, letting them know in no uncertain terms that if they do vote for this hate bill, that we, the people, we're going to remember, because the midterm elections are coming up fairly soon. And one of the reasons the Democrats want to rush it through is because they want to get this past them. This pro-pedophile hate bill is not going to sound very well in the sound bites a year from now at midterms. They want to get this Orwellian anti-Christian legislation taken care of now, so that the family can emphasize family values for the next half of this Congress. So right now is the crucial hour. We got to get those calls going in. Again, the toll-free number to your senator is 877-851-6437. Again, that's 877-851-6437. And the backup toll number is 202-225-3121. That's 202-225-3121. And just give them this simple message. Have you watched the shocking video that shows Attorney General Holder saying there is no equal protection under the hate bill? It's on the home page at truthtellers.org.
Well, I mean, Reverend Ted Pike, there is no doubt that these people are out of control. I mean, the hate bill, I agree with you, is the big hot topic right now. It's what they're trying to pass right now. But you look at everything else, the seizure of all energy production and all human activity, taxing the carbon cycle, what plants breathe, carbon dioxide, saying what plants breathe is a deadly poison, listing it as a deadly poison now. I mean, this is insanity. Trying to start new wars, the anti-gun bills, the likes of which we've never seen, and then all these hoax articles in the mainstream saying there is no gun bills. Why are people buying guns? I really see this all coming to a collision because it looks like the establishment is bum rushing right now. Are they doing that out of strength, or are they doing that out of desperation, realizing that the people are becoming wise to their new world order?
Well, I think they are. They're doing it out of desperation. The ADL has global ambitions, and it's in a race with the new alternative media of the Internet, talk radio, and so on, which is spilling the beans about their role as the architect of most of this legislation. But we have to realize that, yes, these are all other great concerns. These other bills are very threatening. But if we lose speech under the federal hate crimes bill, we will lose all our other freedoms, freedoms to criticize these other pieces of very threatening legislation. So number one priority, this is kind of the beating heart of our republic, is to keep that precious free speech alive. The hate bill is a sword pointed at our free speech.
Well, I agree with you, Ted, but let's expand. Let's say they do pass it and try to implement it. We've then got to fight it every step of the way. I mean, for those that don't know, you know them. I've had them on. It's mainstream news that in Philadelphia, preachers that come out to street corners and preach are charged with hate crime by the state and taken to prison. And then huge court battles ensued. These people, this is not just our opinion. They mean business. And, folks, even if you disagree with somebody coming out and protesting you, the point is, if you take their freedom of speech, we live in a tyranny. I mean, I don't think people realize, Reverend, you're not joking. In fact, it's hard to describe just how real and hardcore this is.